Back in Grand Rapids with our new friend John Morgan. We're at the Chase Matthews Show tonight at the intersection. John, how are you today?
I'm great, man. How are you?
I am doing well. This Midwest weather treating you okay?
So far, it was weird because we got out of the hotel this morning and it was slightly warm.
Yeah.
We went to Target. We came out of Target and it was freezing cold. I'm like, how does this even happen?
Yep, that's Michigan this time of year.
It was wild.
Would you believe that it was 70 here last week?
Really?
Yes.
That's perfect
for about
me.
48 hours. Yeah. And then it snowed, and then it literally snowed.
Short-lived, huh? Oh, man. Hey, I can get down with it. I like it.
Man, you've been doing a lot lately. I feel like the name John Morgan I see more and more often, which I guess is probably what you want with an album coming up the way. But do you feel like it's been moving faster?
Yeah, I definitely think more things have come to a head in the sense of like we've been doing a lot of prep work, trying to promote the record and honestly the grunt work of doing it, which is my favorite thing to do. I love being in the studio. I love writing towards something, and so all that stuff. Once we kind of wrap that up, it's kind of a smooth sailing and just focusing on how do we promote this thing, you know.
Well, I mean, the songs are doing a lot of the work for you right now, guys. The songs are, let's start with Kid Myself because that's the most recent one.
Yeah.
Gets stuck in my head all the time.
Good.
Tyler Hubbard has a hand in this. Did you guys write that together? How did that song come about?
Yeah, we did. So I'd never written with Tyler before. And I'll say this too. This was one of the songs on the record that is it's a newer song. We wrote it at the end of last year.
Oh, wow.
And so the majority of the record otherwise is, there's songs on there that are 5 or 6 years old. And so I've been hanging on to a bunch of them for a while. But yeah, this was one of the new ones. And I had, like I said, never written with Tyler before. And the night before we were supposed to write, I was like super nervous. I'm like, man, I got to bring something to the room, right? Like I got to bring one good idea at least. And so it's like 2 a.m. I'm up in my loft, like just kind of working on stuff, trying to come up with something. And I ended up coming across a voice memo that it was just a guitar riff that I had. And so I was like, oh, that's kind of cool. And so I started messing with that. And then I started scrolling through my phone. I got hooks. I got a hooks note where I just like write stuff down if I don't have time to really flush it out. And so scrolling through and I saw that title Kid Myself, and I knew that it kind of felt like there was something to it, so I just wrote like a scratch course and tried to set it up a little bit and get the idea across of what I wanted. And so the next day I show up, never met Tyler again, and he was the nicest guy in the world. First of all, shout out to him. He's a super cool guy. He was just very laid back, and we started chatting. I could tell he was like, what you got, man? It was like one of those things, like, what you got in there? So I threw out a couple ideas, and one of the ideas he liked. And so we chased it for like an hour, and then we just hit a wall. And I was like, of course this would happen to me, and so we're in the middle of chasing this other idea. And I'm like, man, I know I don't want to jump ships, but like, I've got another idea if you want to hear it. And he was like, yeah, sure. So I threw out Kid Myself, and he was like, that's what we're writing. And so we chased it. It was pretty smooth sailing after that. Once we locked into what the idea needed to be, he's a great writer. Yeah. And so we were able to kind of throw ideas at each other. Jordan Schmidt was another guy in the room, and another great writer. And so just the collab really sped the process up along. It got the idea better than where I imagined it in the first place. So that's kind of how it came about. And I knew that, when I sang the demo, I sang it in the room, and I was like, man, there's something special to this. Like I knew there was something there. And so it ended up being probably the newest song on the record. And I'm really excited that it's out now finally.
I mean, I love it. I love it immensely. And I can't imagine the nervousness. Actually, Trevor was just in here, and he wrote with one of the co-writers for, what song was it he was telling us that he co-wrote for? I don't remember, but they also had a diamond record. And he was talking about the anxiety of like having to work with a guy who has a diamond record. Yeah. There's only like
No
6
pressure.
of those guys to begin with.
Yeah, no pressure.
Oh, this guy has a okay.
Yeah. Everybody's like, oh, just do your thing. Okay, what if my thing doesn't happen?
Yeah.
I'm
supposed to just be myself.
Yeah.
That's the floor. That's the FGL guy.
Yeah, right?
My grandma can recognize this.
Right.
I also wanted to ask, speaking of songwriting synergy, Crickets. Lydia is a co-writer on that one with you, right? How did the two of you meet? Because you guys have some real synergy in the room together.
We do, man. we actually met through a mutual friend, Will Bundy, who was one of my first friends when I moved to town. He's the guy that really helped me advance myself on the production side of things. When I moved to town, I had a little experience with production, and he would let me come in and watch his process on how he built demo tracks. And one of the things that I always appreciate him for is he told me before I was signed or anybody knew who I was, he was like, man, if you want to get in better rooms, learn how to do a demo, because it's just another tool to put in your bag. And he's like, there's a lot of demo guys, but there's not a lot of demo guys who can write as well. He's like, you can write, so just add this to your toolkit. And so I took him up on it, thankfully, and I still do a lot of that and love it. But he's the guy who introduced me to Lydia. They still do work at the same publishing company, and it was during COVID and all that stuff going on, and he had reached out, set up this write between her, Zach Dyer, another buddy of mine, and him, and we were gonna Zoom write. And so I was obviously nervous for that too, because I'm more of an in-person kind of guy. And so we hop on the Zoom call, and the first song we ever wrote was called House on Memory Lane, and it's been one of my favorites ever since that day. It's one of those songs where I'm like waiting on the right time for it, and but yeah, ever since that day we've just clicked. And Lydia, I'm not just saying this, but she's gonna be the next. You're gonna hear her name for a long time.
Like the Jesse Joe Dillon and all.
100%.
So for when it comes to crickets, did you bring the cricket thing to the table, or did someone else?
And that actually was not my idea. It was me, Lydia, and a guy named Zach Aldean, another great writer in town. And it was, I think, my second time writing with Zach, and we were throwing around ideas, and he's like, man, I got this idea. It's called Crickets. And I'm like,
all right.
Sick.
Sounds country at least.
Yeah, I'm like, cool. Like, what is it? And he started like explaining his initial thought process on it, and I could just see the lights start clicking for her, and we were like, man, we got to write this. And so it ended up being like a fun, just a fun song to listen to. But if you listen to the lyric to it, it's got a young feel to it, but I feel like it's something that a lot of people could probably relate to, when you are in that age, when you're like just talking to a girl and you're like, dude, let's just go hang out, let's go hang out somewhere. And so that was kind of the whole idea around it. And, Crickets is his favorite country song, right? Like that's the whole thing. So yeah, that was not my idea. I can't take credit for it, but we definitely, had a few different roadmaps of where we thought it should go, and had to fight over it a little bit, but yeah, it was fun.
It's one of those ones where when I hear it, my brain is like, I can't believe no one has done this yet. Like, it's one of those ideas where like, this really hasn't been touched. Like,
right. Yeah. Right in your face. Yeah.
As a creative, I'm sure you have this where like, you have a thought of an idea and you like text the group chat to be like, has anyone ever heard this line and something? Like, it's one of those where you're just like, has anyone heard Crickets before?
Oh yeah, dude.
Crickets like this?
Yeah, dude. I had you'll laugh at this, because I had an idea popped in my head the other morning, and I was like, oh, that's good. And I'm like flushing it out, and I wrote it down, did like a little voicemail on what I had going for it. And I was like, I should probably look it up, see if it's been done. There was probably like 7 songs with the same title, and it was something along the lines of like Done. And I was like, of course, Chris Jansen had a song called Done. I'm like, all right, scratch that one out, At least I was on the right path.
There you go. One less thing in the notes app. One less thing in the notes app.
Right.
My fear as a creative person, I always tell her, is like, if I die, just delete the notes app. Never let anyone get near it. That and my audio voice, my voice memos.
There's some scary stuff in there, man.
I don't even want to click on them. Sometimes I see like the dates and I'm like, nah, I don't even know what that is. 2.5 minutes can't be good.
Dude, I saw a meme once. Somebody sent me a meme, and it was like, when you're pulling out your phone to listen to a voice memo to pitch an idea, and it's literally the guy like choking his phone out the window because it's like the worst audio you've ever heard of him just like throwing something down. That's my entire voice memo like catalog. It's crazy, man.
Just you kind of cursing underneath like, this sounds like awful.
Oh yeah, a lot. Yeah, I really hope my kids never run into that. And there's a lot of cuss words in there.
We have a 16-month-old now, so there's a thing that's
really?
in our reality.
Congrats, y'all. That's awesome.
Thank you. Yeah. So we do that, but that's the thing that's on my mind a lot now, where I'm like, he's gonna Google me one day, and so like when I'm like, oh, I gotta make the videos that work, things that work. I want to make sure that I'm proud of them in a different way.
Yeah, 100%, man.
Now it can haunt me in a different way.
Yeah, dude. Well, there's a scary aspect of it, and there's also the like for me, it's a lot of drive now too.
Yeah.
I just had my third, and so I'm like,
Oh, wow.
yeah, I'm like, man, I want my kids to be proud of something when they get to
Absolutely.
an age where they actually understand what's going on and what I do and how much I put into it, and like it's not just me going out and having fun on the weekends. It's literally me keeping the lights on, and doing the only thing I've ever been good at and felt like I've ever been good at is music, and so hopefully, yeah, I'll do something that they're proud of one day too.
That's my hope. He won't grow up and be like, so they went to stand in my boots? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Or he played stand in my
Cool.
boots, right?
Yeah, yeah.
That's neat, guys. I
Yeah.
spent a lot of time with my grandparents.
Right.
Thanks, buddy. Well, let's talk about the album real quick.
Sure.
You said there's a lot of stuff in the making. I always wonder, when you're coming up on a big record moment like this for you, is it hard to be like, what version of John Morgan am I going to give the world? Because there have been so many versions of you up to this point.
Sure, yeah. Probably a lot of the same in that sense of like, I just went into this project with the mindset of like, initially, I'll tell you this, you'll appreciate this. Initially, I went into it like I was putting a project together, right? And I was trying to think, okay, well, we've got this and we need this and we've got this kind of song. We got a fun, we got a tempo, we need something. And I was in that process, and I remember Aldean called me up, and we were talking about, it was another business thing we were trying to talk about, and he was like, how's the album going? And I was like, well, it's tough, man. I've been writing for 5 years, and I've got a lot of songs to go through, and just trying to pick the ones that I feel like are me. Your debut album is kind of a statement, in a lot of ways. A lot of my favorite albums and favorite artists are, or a lot of my favorite artists, I love their initial albums that they put out. And so I know it's a big deal. And so I was trying to really make sure I was covering all the bases. And he was like, I'll take the pressure off of you. He's like, you need hits. You need hits. He's like,
Spoken like a true hitmaker.
yeah, right. And it did, and some people may disagree, but I feel like it changed my thought process on it, in the sense of like trying to be super artistic and like put all. It's like, dude, he's right, man. He's not wrong.
Most people are not going to hear it in that sequence that you put it in, any of that stuff.
Right. And unless you explain it, sometimes people they're not in on the ground floor, so it's not first nature for them to think that way, right? So him saying that was like, okay, let's reset and let's look at it again from a different perspective. And I didn't just throw a bunch of songs on there that I thought were hits, but I did keep that mentality of like, this is a great song and I love it and it's something I want to say, and I could also see it being a radio single.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah.
And so that this whole project, I feel like the majority of it is that. And so that was kind of the mentality. And I also wanted to showcase, songs and types of music that have influenced me early on, upcoming, my bluegrass roots. And I also showcase stuff that I've gotten into lately and sounds that I like now. And so there's a lot of it takes you on a ride for sure. So I'm excited for people to get to hear the whole thing down.
There's something I like to ask my friends after they lock a record. Like, you're in that place right now where it isn't out yet. How long after you locked it were you like, oh shit, I forgot to put it? Or were you like, or did you write a song the next day where you're like, oh, this is it's too late.
Yeah,
it's too late. I already sent the email.
Dude, I had to really come to, because I can nitpick something to death. I really can. I feel like that's part of what I bring to the table as a writer in a good way. People might get annoyed at it, but I'm always like refining stuff. Like, even when we get out of the room, I'll step away from it, come back to it. Is this the right lyric? Does this need to be here? Is this, you know what I mean? Is this a filler line or whatever? Like, I'm always tearing stuff apart and trying to like make it better. And in that process, I was just like, man, at some point you gotta call it, and you gotta say it. And the thing that I came to peace with it on was that it's my debut project, but it's also a timestamp for me in my career. This is where I'm at, and this is what I love. And hopefully one day I'll look back on it and be like, yeah, maybe I shouldn't have cut that one, or maybe I should have put this one in there instead. But it'll always be a timestamp for me to like, level up. I want the next one to be better, and always have that mentality. So I had to have some closure somehow, because I would have been there. I would have been in the studio for a year if I could have. And it was 2 months of us being in there just, day after day. So It was so much fun to make, man. I got to play everything on this record. I played my co-producer Brent Anderson. He and I played all the guitar parts, and had my guys come in and play drums and bass, and had Mr. Mike Johnson on steel guitar. So it was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
For me to get in that creative world too and be very hands-on with this project, and that's probably the most thing I'm proud of on this thing.
It makes sense because when I listen to John Morgan music, not to talk about you in the third person like you're not right in front of me, but the thing that always sticks out to me is like there's always a moment when the guitar riff kind of comes through. I mean, it's not always at the beginning of the song. Sometimes it's like tucked in a little bit, and that's when I feel like it really becomes a John Morgan song because there's always a groove in there.
Yeah,
that's not just the lyrical melody.
Yeah.
You're always doing something else underneath. I'm like, oh, this is fun.
Yeah.
This is a nice little groove.
Yeah, I've always been a melody guy. I feel like first and foremost, moving to Nashville really helped me craft my writing side and like lyrically being able to, hopefully write a hit song and know what that formula is to an extent. And I've learned a lot from a lot of guys, but yeah, I love getting in the studio and just like noodling with guitar stuff until we're like, oh, that's cool, put that in,
Find a way to shove that into this.
Yeah. So it's fun. It's a lot of fun for me.
Well, before I let you go, I got to ask you a couple of more things, John.
Sure.
Number one, you are playing Sand in My Boots. Do you feel, we're going, we're very excited about it.
That's gonna be fun.
It's going to be fun. Are you getting beach ready yet? Are you ready for the sun of the summer?
I mean, I'm a dad, so
that's where we're
about
at.
as good as it's gonna get.
It's honestly in both of our calendars is like a countdown to remind ourselves because you know how hard it is to like get to the gym as a parent. We're just just remember you have to be around young people in 57 days.
Yeah, people are gonna be looking at you under a microscope.
Yeah,
so
you're gonna look old in 57 days. So could you try to pull it together?
Dude, the dad bods are back, man. They're in, so we're good. We're golden.
We're gonna be there. At least there'll be a few other dads there.
I'm sure there'll be more than we think. Yeah, more than we think.
I've always wondered. I mean, I know you're a big Aldean guy. This is something Chase and I talk about a lot.
Sure.
What are your like? Someone's like, let's play some early Aldean. What are your three go-tos?
Ooh.
And how many are Neil Thrasher songs?
Probably a handful. I would say probably my favorite is The Truth.
Yes.
When we were out on the road with Aldean a couple years ago, he was like, man, I want you to come up and sing one on stage with me during our set. And he was like, what one would you want to do? And I kind of jokingly was like, man, you don't even have my favorite one in your set. And he was like, what is it? I was like, The Truth. And so they put that song back in their set so we could do it. And I'm a little biased on that end, but that's always been, that one takes me, he hates when I say this too. He's like, dude, you make me sound so old. But I'm like, this takes me back to high school, man, when my girlfriend was driving me around in her little Dodge Dart, like cruising around. And so I love that song. Another one of my favorites is Relentless. That's one of my favorites. And I also love Asphalt Cowboy, taking it way back.
There you go. Asphalt Cowboy is a good one.
That's a good one.
It's a compliment. He should see it that way. I feel like there's this movement right now where people are realizing how great early Aldean is. So that's a gift to be this so far in your career and to people be like, the early stuff is still bangs, man.
Yeah,
They're still doing it right now.
Yeah, I'll put my plug in real quick. I was fortunate to be able to write for his upcoming record. They just finished cutting his upcoming record a couple months ago.
Okay.
And I was very fortunate to get a handful of songs on there. And I'll tell you this, man, I did my damnedest to write towards that style of his early stuff, in the sense of like ideas that I had that I brought into the room. Because he does a lot of things really well.
Mm-hmm.
And I think the saving grace for him is his vocal. Like he can sing the phone book and it sounds good. You know what I mean? Like he's one of those kind of guys. And so I was just like, I'm going to write stuff. It's a Neil Thrasher treatment where it's like, I'm going to write stuff that pushes his vocal a little bit and makes, just lets his vocal shine, because I feel like that's the old stuff that I love. It's all the melodic stuff and him just absolutely ripping, you know? So I tried to write that way, and the handful of songs I've got on there, I'm super proud of. So
did you manage to avoid writing about towns?
Probably not. No, it was probably a couple.
When Chase was with him last year, we got to watch the show. His sound guy, I remember, pointed to the set list and went, "We've reached the town portion," because he put them all on top of each other.
Oh, really?
So it was just like cracking, like all of the four in a row. And then he moved on, but it was just one portion of the show had all the town songs.
If it ain't broke, don't fix it.
He's got 9 of them, but they're all great. That's the problem.
I know, man.
If one would not work, I
know everybody has this thing in town where they're like, oh, I'm gonna stop writing about tailgates, I'm gonna stop writing about riverbanks, and it's like, why?
What? Yeah.
Like it works. And don't be honest. If you're being honest, you love songs that have that in that.
Yeah,
you know
right.
what I mean? Like it doesn't. Some things just don't get old.
I mean, yeah. And if you're gonna, I'm sure you've learned that throughout the town. But I'm like, you're writing with the kind of people who have mastered that craft. Where it's like, yeah, this is what works,
yeah.
man. And then we're gonna top it. John
Yep.
Morgan, I'm so excited to have been able to talk to you about this because
Same,
I've been
man.
a long time addicted to the songs, but this album, I'm so excited to hear it. So I'm
Yeah.
inching my way towards getting that advance of it by talking to you.
Yeah, I got you. I'm gonna text it to you when we get done. I'm gonna text it to you.
Go.
Yeah.
But are you feeling like, before we go, are you feeling like you're where you want to be in terms of like the album coming out and the motion things are going? Are you happy?
Yeah, man.
At least right in this exact moment?
Yeah, I'm you know what, man? My goal when I moved to Nashville was to be a songwriter. That was my goal. I had the artist thing was in the back of my mind, and I expected it to take a minute. It's happened a lot quicker than I thought it would, to be honest with you. But now that I'm actually getting to do it, I've been fortunate to be able to write for other guys in town, other artists. And I haven't necessarily figured out what my sound is, but I figured out what it isn't. In a lot of ways, and it's allowed me to kind of figure out where my lane is, what I love, songs that hopefully I'll get to play for 10, 15, 20 years, and still enjoy doing it then. Right now, I'm loving life, man. I love getting to tour and meet new people and see different places, and it's been a lot of fun. So yeah, I'm super happy. I've never I always dreamed about putting out a debut album too. And so that's going to be a bucket list thing I get to check off in a couple months. So life's good, man.
Life's real good. Then you got, the album comes out end of April, right?
End of April 25th.
25th, less than a month from right now.
That's right, man.
We're inching close. And then we talk about Sand in My Boots shortly thereafter. And then what's the rest of the year look like for John Morgan?
We're playing some really cool festivals. We got Tortuga, Sand in My Boots, Stagecoach. We're doing, we got some this weekend with Chase Matthews, one of my highlights. And then we've got some stuff with Old Dominion coming out this summer. So we're just kind of bouncing around, man. I think we got some Riley Green stuff too. So we're doing a lot of headlining stuff this year, which I'm excited about. We haven't done a lot of that, so it'll be fun to come and headline some of these clubs that we've been direct support on, and hopefully some people will show up for us.
We'll be there. We'll be there. Hopefully you'll be there too.
Yeah.
I'm out April 25th. You can find John Morgan everywhere.
That's right.
You're out there on the internet making stuff.
On the
Thank you
webs.
so much, buddy.
Thank you, man. Thanks for your time.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
We're all set, man. That's all I had too.